This honoring the past, animating the present, and imagining the future with a series of slides. So to honor the past, the ancestors, archaic obsession with spirit, they created a liturgical year, celebrations throughout the year in their culture, and genetically, the tribe was conditioned to experience what that was. So there's a template in us for doing this, socially sanctioned ways of transcending. So sometimes in the Jewish tradition, it's about getting a blessing, that the ancestors, they bequeath something to us. There's no doubt that there's a legacy that was left to those who came before us to benefit us. We have to take heed of both the good things they gave us as well as their superstitions and their ignorance. Now Tevye, from the Fiddler on the Roof, rails against the breaking of tradition, breaking with the system. And it's the whole thing about the monoliths versus the individual's need to expand and experience freedom. So how do we maintain continuity rather than contraction against innovation and change? So that means bucking the system in some way. Monolithic, made of one and only one piece, be it a piece of stone or a society cast in the same way. Most of us are not that aware of how the system bends you out of shape with society's pliers, as Dylan says. For your punishment, write 100 times, I will not waste my time on meaningless tasks. Oh, anybody go through a school experience like this? I certainly did. Structure becomes stricture, and the rote learning mind gets numbed. And therefore, instruction is not education, packing in knowledge versus leading forth from what's inside the student. So this is contemporary. I like to always make fun of my Irish wife marrying outside of the Jewish tradition. Lashona tovah, from your favorite shiksa. So she learned some Yiddish words. That's great. How do we have this contemporary and ancient connection, this hybridization, this cross-pollination, this cross-fertilization in a global way? By opening ourselves to things that may not have existed before and creating a new mindset. Yoga is about universality in a certain way. So the individual to stand alone, to stand outside the box, to be yourself, to understand yourself is to stand under, to go under the radar though sometimes. Conformity on the outside, non-conformity on the inside. Sometimes your giftedness forces you to just be different. You can't not be that way. So the code of melody and colors is that we have to accept everybody's difference. Everybody's me too voice needs to be heard. So this is freedom to be yourself without permission, not the freedom from anything. So you have to see the false as the false, as Krishnamurti says, and that what remains is what is true, which is a more uninhibited self-expression, certain activity when you follow your bliss that has never been seen on land, air, or sea before. So you're unique. Everyone's unique. Everyone got something to contribute. All right, that's the way you animate the past. Honor the past. You recognize that all in you. And then you bring it to the present. You do your thing. The earth is never hurt by a bad dance. So bring your swag, strut your stuff in a healthy narcissistic way, which means you're going to give your gifts to everybody. All right, so do you have the will? Make it so, Mr. Wolf. You're going to engage in action from clarity, not choice. I used to say to my college students, if you're not proactive, by default, you go to chaos. So take command. Right? Who has control of the remote? And so it's always an action. So in the moment, seize your historical moment. Okay? What is the coming of age moment for you? Live yours. So what are you sitting on? What are you not risking? The world is so in need of what you have to give it, right? So we're hesitant. We got to take that leap into space, into the next unknown. Unbelievable. All right, so who knew that we had this inside ourselves, this possibility to transform ourselves from this little piece of wheat? Look what happens. This is called bindu to ojas in yoga, that the seed breaks into creativity. And we have this kind of prima materia that's possible for us to come to fruition as well, something within us that's like a seed and can burst forth and multiply in beautiful and productive ways. So we have to protect, create safety, create a non-threatening environment, one that's encouraging, nurturing, caring, especially in the initial stages of its growth. But that brings us to a problem. When you get prophetic insight, should I save the world or savor the world? Ultimately, as Matthew Fox often reminds us, there's no peace without justice. This is one of the visions that we get in the Via Transformativa. So it's a threat to the status quo. So what do? Turn your back on that and just enjoy life? If you enjoy your life, no Via Transformativa. Anyway, so you have to have a paradigm shift. Oh, I'm afraid you've had a paradigm shift. Yeah, if that's the depression, it's the disoriented feeling, isn't it? Yes, self-transformation can only happen if there's self-confrontation. Change the old way. And the only way to do this is self-reformation. You got to move it around. And that's when self-transformation happens. That's why there's disorientation until such time as you get a grip. And then part of what happens is you realize that there is guardian angels, you can call them, your own inner twin, your own inner genius, the daimon, the cautionary spirit with you, the comforter, the higher self, inner deva, whatever you want to call it. Forces that have your best interest at heart are guiding you, guarding you, protecting you, surrounding you, enveloping you. And so one part of you is invited to stay in contact with the part I call holy, Holy, leisure. Just free. Homo ludens, the human the player. Homo aestheticus, human the beauty maker. Worship beauty and play, the lila, the dance of life in all things. Keep that spirit alive. And when you do that, you start to balance your hemispheres much more when you live that way. So you want to envision a kind of brain synchrony. This is called the marriage of Shiva and Shakti in yogic parlance. The Hieros Gamos, the sacred marriage, the union of Sol and Luna, as the alchemists would say. When you bring the logical and intuitive side of your brain together, a new way of perception happens. Now, do you want to go back to the same old, or do you want to open your eyes? One way of looking at things will just go on the same way. You'll be in the matrix for the rest of your life. The other way, you'll see what's really going on and get shocked. So that shocking is necessary to ignite the inner geniuses that you have, designed by geniuses, run by idiots. We all have to face that leadership has to come from within. So you have to unite the geniuses inside yourself with the geniuses inside of other people and synthesize the best of everyone that way. That is what we really can be about. And that would lead us not only to a national way of feeling connected to the people here, but also help us to imagine the future, where the coat of many colors, all the rainbow warriors, all the heavenly visions of Jerusalem, the one love, the one world, let's get together and feel all right. Whatever are the ways of expressing the commonality of humanity and the fact that that's one family, the human family, one home, the earth, and we all recognize the beauty of that, and that's what we live for.